Yeah, so this is actually is more of a Twitter chat, and I know a few of you are thinking, must get Twitter. It sucks away your life, or my life anyway. You want to go to bed, you want to go to sleep, and then suddenly you catch a new conversation, and that's it. It's a late night.
Worst thing in the world was whoever invented a hashtag.
Oh yeah.
Which we're using tonight.
Yeah.
Watched it.
But I had this conversation. There is lots of online. This probably won't get too many chat. There's lots of online chats going on Twitter. UK Ed Chat is the one that I subscribe to quite a lot, and it's a weekly chat about a certain topic. It's worldwide. I mean, it's based around sort of English and Scottish and Irish education system, but a lot of folks from America and Australia chip in as well. And because it's on Twitter, you can actually just catch up with the conversation later on, add your thoughts to it a couple of days later. And one of the chats I had a few weeks ago was about this idea of a genius bar, or using the sort of model of a genius bar to deliver effective CPD. And it was just an off-the-cuff comment between myself and this other guy, whose name, Paul, is Paul McKean. Can't remember where he's from, but he's one of my followers and followees on Twitter. And we had a big conversation about it. It's used already in a school near him. He doesn't do it himself, but I looked at Genius Bars. It's, in case you're not sure, this is an Apple made, but it's in the Apple Store. If you go to the back, it's the bit where they tell you how to use your device. And I've pinched the model because it's a fairly good model. And I've tried to apply it to CPD, and there's tons of examples out there. So, like when you go into the Apple Store, you've got to know what the problem is. What are you trying to learn about? I went into the Apple Store once when I was what my third-year kids would call a noob. When I had my iPod Touch, just bought that, and I knew I had Bluetooth, and I didn't know why it wasn't working. And being a computing teacher, I didn't like this, so I went into the Apple Store and went to the Genius Bar and said, "Can you show me how to use this Bluetooth? I think it's broken." And it was only then they pointed out that it wasn't broken; it was just Apple Bluetooth, and that was totally different to any other sort of phone or headset that I was trying to get to connect it. I think it was the moment that I realised this was when my iPod was sitting in between two mobile phones on either side, and a headset around the back of it, and they could all speak to each other, and that was just ignoring a lot of them. So, like when you go to the Apple Store and you want to, they're not sponsoring us, but they should probably. You have to identify the skills you require and the time you've got available. So, I mean, a lot of teachers are now coming up to very free time because their kids have gone on study leave. It's a time where you start to find your desk again. But you should also be thinking about your CPD for the next year. And so you think about what you need to know and what time you've got available. Just certain things, is it a lunchtime or a free period or an afternoon, something like that. And I mean, this bit will probably take a bit of work, but I thought you should match the demand to staff. So I might be interested in learning more about live stream, which is what we're using tonight to demonstrate, to broadcast to the internet. So maybe I wanted to learn more about that, so I would match up my needs to maybe a staff member who's using it before. What we're doing tonight maybe. And then think about the questions I'm going to take and what I'd like to use the skill for. Is this something that, when you have your in-service days and you've got your 2-hour afternoon session in Glow, or a 2-hour afternoon session in Prezi, or whatever is the current sort of flavour of the month. A lot of you just, I go along there, pretty passively sit down and I don't know how I'm going to use it yet because I haven't seen it. But if we're using this model, you should sort of think about how you're going to use the skill and be prepared to challenge the person who's doing it, so take questions. This is the key thing. The Apple website says that you get 15-minute appointments, and I think this model works really well for CPD because if you can learn something new in 15 to 30 minutes, you're not going to get bored for a start. And you might also then go away and think about what was my next step, rather than sitting there for 2 hours learning one thing in 15 minutes, being bored for the rest of the PS, and this is something else that's going on Twitter just now. It's the Canadian thing I found, 31-day game, and it's a CPD. It's almost like a playoff. It's like a fantasy football. And each day there are 2 teaching strategies that you have to compare and pick your favourite. And they kind of go up through this sort of round sort of ties, and get to the finalists, and then that's the best one in the 31 days. So they can only run this on months that have 31 days. So that's running just now, and it's really good. It takes 10 minutes of time a day, and it's just very simple. One page, you read the strategy, you think about how you use it. I think out of the 11 days so far, there have been about 20 of 22 that I never heard of before. So it's totally worth having a look. Who's going to deliver the training? Obviously, internal schools. The cost situation, the budgets. You're probably not going to get on many training courses, or if any. And so internal training is going to be pretty important. So also linking with local schools, so you can team up and do, like Mark and myself, we're looking at doing coding.
Yeah, crush.
Inviting someone up from the council area to do a coding course. And then the 2 schools will come together to get the most out of their time. Also, secondary, primary, also further education. If you're near enough and have the same demands, so picking the audience to maximise your impact is quite key. And I was thinking of this, staff and staff is the typical way of doing staff training, and people were kind of looking at that in classes and having sort of peer guidance, peer learning. Why not have people at staff? And that was something that myself and Paul were talking about on Twitter, was if these people have the skills in using iPods, any kind of hardware device or software package, we're not getting them to teach the staff. If that's what the staff want to learn, and if people can do it, then why not sort of help them contribute? Responsible citizens. Very important for excellence. And also the follow-up is quite important, so paper survey or email survey or web link. It's all evidence of your CPD record. It's all making sure that the training that you've given in 15 to 30 minutes is very important, and also might inspire people to take up the training chain and do a course. So it was just the kind of ideas behind the Genius work and how it could effectively deliver more effectively versus CPD. Like I say, it's just a discussion. Got any questions about that?
No. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Ian, with taking sort of ownership of your own CPD and things like that as a way forward, as events maybe become less often and harder to get onto in the rest of it. I think we're all going to have to open up through things like this or otherwise to personal CPD.
I know when it started. I mean, I was getting sent on day-long courses down in Glasgow. You get overnight accommodation. It's brilliant. It's a jolly for a day.
Why?
And you come back and you remember like
5
fifth
minutes.
of it. You forget it on the train on the way back up the road, because most of it is interesting but not useful to you. So it's got to be
I think it's
localised.
I really like the idea of taking it on board yourself, because you'd be surprised how many people that could probably benefit you in the classroom. Like, I've got some people that work for Apple, and I know that I could quite easily say to them, do you fancy coming in and speaking to the school about it? Like, I don't know how that works with the school and how you organise it, but they would quite happily come in and just speak about it, because they're just geeks, Apple geeks, and want to talk about it, and they would be free, and it would be something you could just organise yourself.
I totally agree. I mean, I've got 2 advanced higher pupils for computing this year, which is quite good for advanced higher computing, because we normally have none. But they both did so well that I've said to them, we'll come back next year as presenters. You can see what budget we've got to give you a bit of money towards your university. They're just going to proper programs. Inspire the next sort of set of advanced to pass on your knowledge, but like what we're doing tonight, which you're passing on information tips and things.
Yeah, I think older people would definitely like that, because it would feel like you're giving them some kind of prestige to do.
Twitter has given me hours of CPD for my probation profile, hours upon hours. Anything read on Twitter goes straight in that profile and fills it up. So as a
station,
it's wonderful.
It's got big Twitter.
Aye, that
opposite
covers it.
and sort of continue the discussion. Of course.
Genius Bars, that's the one that like takes all your music, doesn't it?
No, that's just the Genius.
Or is it just Genius?
I think just called Genius.
Yeah.
It's just Genius. These are basically, they are bars. They're just basically, they're tables like this. They're maybe about waist height up. And what you do is you take in your product and you just go up, and you've got like 4 or 5 different people that'll rush to come over and help you. If you go into the Apple store, they've got the next session is at 3 p.m. You go in and you go in with your problem. And, they're great things. Yeah, you can do that as well. I mean, when Ian mentioned this to me sort of last week, I started having a conversation about it, and we just thought, it's what's been missing. It's the 15-30 minutes of relevant CPD. I think that's as a couple of teachers that have been in for a few years, we've been sent on XYZ CPD. How much of it can we honestly say has been overly relevant? 30, 40, 60%.
Over 50 then.
Yeah, but if it was short, sharp, to the point, I think more and more people would be like filling up their CPD profiles with so many different
Well, the
things.
thing is, if you were watching even a podcast or somebody came to visit you for 15 minutes
Yeah.
every week, then
Yeah.
more chances of
Oh,
doing
you'd easily
something
fill
with
up your
it,
CPD. Oh, definitely.
It's that kind of feeling of, oh, maybe on a Thursday lunchtime I'll watch a podcast, right, 15 minutes this week, same next week, have a go in between.
About 20 minutes.
There's also there's iTunes U as well. I was talking to some of the primary students there. And iTunes U is absolutely superb. That video I showed you at the start of my presentation was a free video downloaded from iTunes U, and they have it's if you've got an iTunes account, it's like subscribing to a podcast. It's free, and it's just the amount of content that's on there is excellent. It's absolutely superb.
That's it. It's got to be relevant to you. If it's not relevant.
Yeah.
Then don't waste your time.
Then don't waste your time. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to watch videos and product placements, right down.
Well, tonight product
Yeah.
placement has been the Apple logo.
Yeah,
I wonder what the product placement would be this evening.
Hope they send us some stuff.
Yeah. Steve, if you're listening, we love you.
Yeah.
Mr. Jobs, give us loads of
Sorry for mentioning it.
You've accredited, so the copyright is.
I took you.
You're fine.
I think, in all honesty, they was.